These homeowners just have this small piece of land and they made such a great use of this space with these really pretty and colorful gardens.
So these are tulips that would be bunny and deer resistant and would last for a really long time. Hi, it's Steph, and I bring you to Amsterdam. We are in the Netherlands, and I've been here for a couple of days, and I will be here for 2 more days before heading over to a women's camp in France. Now, I have a couple of coworkers who had asked me if I wanted to take this trip, and of course I did, because it sounded like an amazing opportunity. And George really encouraged me to go because I've been working really hard the last couple of years, both at my job and on YouTube, which is like a second job. And he's home holding down the fort, making sure that the water is getting done on the garden. And so here I am. And I thought that it would be fun to kind of show you some of the gardening related things that I see on the trip. So come along with me to Amsterdam, and later this week we will head over to France.
While in Amsterdam, we stayed at the Eden Hotel, which was centrally located and had the best beds and pillows of any hotel that I ever stood at. It was a really comfortable night's sleep. It is located in front of the Canal, which was always bustling with activity, with boats cruising up and down all day long. The first day we were pretty tired, but we powered through the jet lag and sort of walked around the city and kind of got the lay of the land. Amsterdam is a very walkable city, and you can get anywhere you need to go on foot or with use of the tram, which is a really affordable way to get around the city. It has some European old world charm with greenery and ivy growing up the buildings, and also lots of plants growing in the cracks of the sidewalks and up the buildings, which I found super cool and interesting. And here you can see some wild hollyhocks growing up the sidewalk and on someone's porch. We stopped for a traditional Dutch snack of bitterballen, which is a rolled up meatball dipped in breadcrumbs and deep fried, and usually dipped in some kind of mustard, mayo, or hummus. It was really delicious. Of course, an Aperol spritz. It was really refreshing on this hot day. Later that evening, we had reservations to visit the Anne Frank House Museum. I found it a really emotional and moving experience, so if you're ever in Amsterdam, I highly recommend it. Day 1 had a sweet end with a traditional Dutch treat of a stroopwafel, which is a waffle that has a bit of a caramel coating, and you can get different toppings on it. So here you can see one that has a chocolate spread with some berries, and I chose to have mine with hazelnut spread and some kind of crunchy bits that I believe were toffee. It was absolutely delicious and the perfect way to end day 1.
Today I'm at the local flower market, and this is called Amsterdam Bulbs, and it looks like an outdoor plant stand or flower stand, and they have tons of beautiful bulbs. The only issue I'm going to have is figuring out how I can take anything home, because my luggage is already at max capacity. Such beautiful fresh flowers. They have some eucalyptus and lilies and sunflowers. Oh, look at these hydrangeas. They're green. I was in the Azores last summer, and hydrangeas were called hortensia, and it looks like they have the same name here. And look at all the dried flowers hanging on the ceiling. Gorgeous calla lilies and roses. So pretty. This is our second day in Amsterdam, and you knew that I would have to find flowers somewhere, and it's not hard, because being in the Netherlands, they have all these beautiful tulips, and I missed the spring show, but I'm still finding some beautiful things. So many fun varieties. I'm so bummed that I didn't bring an extra suitcase, but I suppose that could be arranged, right? Now, there are the prices. It looks like one bag is €6 and 2 bags for €10. And the currency exchange is pretty close right now, the US dollar and the euro, so it wouldn't be much of a swing. Look at this fritillaria and crocus.
So maybe it has to be like a health certificate. Oh, okay. So yeah.
Anemones.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if there would be an issue with customs with bringing things like this home. There might be. Is this silk flowers?
These are.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at this. It looks like Nigella in silk flower form. Nigella. Love in a Mist. Delphiniums. You know the flowers, Trisha. Green thumb. Oh, and look at this. Globe thistle. Thistle, yeah. So cool. These are €9.99 for a stem. It looks like it's a single stem. Look at that. So cool. Mine's actually blooming right now at home. My thistle. Some pretty dried flowers. They have a lot of this pampas grass. Seems to be really popular these days. And look at the peacock feathers. And then these are some poppy heads. Yeah. Some dried straw flower. I'm growing straw flower this season, so hopefully I can dry some like this. It's so pretty. This one looks like a watermelon, doesn't it? Like a parrot tulip. Some giant alliums, one for $4.50 and two for €8. They have the Mount Everest variety and the allium white giant. Some beautiful hydrangeas in the center there. I've seen so many pretty hydrangeas here. Someone had a hydrangea garden on their front porch stoop over by the sidewalk. That was really pretty. Some more alliums. Christophe and Gladiator. And Stipatatum? Stipatatum, it looks like. Look at this dark colored fritillaria. It's called Persica. These are some really large bulbs. Look at that. So fun. And these boxwoods are real. Someone shaped them into perfect balls. You can pick your bulbs. Exactly. Amaryllis. This is some nice large bulbs. That one's Angelique in the center, that pretty pink. And then there's Yellow Pioneer, which looks like a pale yellow, and orange. Look at this. I think you can grow your own palm tree. Yeah, it seems like it. Isn't that fun? Looks like a mini coconut. They have these cool little gift sets here with these seeds that you grow. And it says that these are easy to grow, but I beg to differ. I've tried to grow this passion flower before. It's a vine and it never grows for me. Let me know if you have luck growing passion flower. But these make really fun little souvenirs. They have little lemon ones, a tomato. Sometimes we see these at Target in the spring. They'll have these little kits like this. My son would find this fun. Look at this, a Venus flytrap. Maybe this is what he gets as a souvenir. Look at that. That's fun. They also have some cool dahlias and lily varieties. This is fun. Pretty tulips. They almost look like ripped fabric that frayed, right? It's called Honeymoon. And we love our little hummingbird friends and butterflies, all the pollinators. Check this out. This little gadget here. You could probably sit and stare at these for quite a while. Oh, we might get dizzy though, right? And you can make your own tulip mix. There's another table with tulip bulbs, loose tulip bulbs. Look at these scented geraniums. They're huge and they smell so nice. The foliage smells like citronella. My friend Maureen likes these. We have lots of really cool silk flowers here. Look at these giant dahlias. So pretty. There's a yellow one on this side and then a fuchsia one too. And wooden tulips. Look how cool these are. You can buy them individually or by? Yeah. This light pink one is pretty. Looks like my Angelique tulips. Yellows and pinks and oranges. So these are tulips that would be bunny and deer resistant and would last for a really long time. There are some house plants in this shop. And living walls seem to be a big thing here. I have seen quite a few. In fact, in the hotel that we're staying at, there are a bunch of beautiful plants on a wall as well. Look at that. So zen. You walk in here and you feel like you can breathe better. Look at that monstera plant in the back there. I have one of those at home and it's gotten quite large. They're really pretty. They do need some staking though. Really pretty foliage on that begonia there. Looks like a Rex begonia. Maybe like a type of bird's nest fern. And a calathea. They have some serenity plants or peace lilies that are blooming. And some terracotta and clay pots. Really like those round kind of bubble ones back there. This one has a ZZ plant in it with some ferns, some ivy.
I thought Steph was wearing a white shirt, and I kept...
Everlasting tulips. They're like a rubbery kind of faux material. They have so many. Look at all the pretty colors. The orange. I really like that kind of purple, pink. It's almost like a mauve color in the middle there.
They're so heavy.
Yeah. You know, I bet you if you put these in a vase, you would never even know.
Never know.
You can put some water in it too because the stems are kind of plastic. Some crocosmia, which the hummingbirds love. And it has these pretty small tubular kind of orange red. Some of them are more red blooms with the strappy foliage at the bottom that is very similar to, say, an iris foliage. So the crocosmia in the back, and then they have some of this yarrow. It looks like it could be like a terracotta variety that starts yellow and then ages to a bit of an orange. And then they have some osteoporum and some mini decorative peppers that in the US, we usually use those for fall arrangements. And lavender.
Oh, it's lavender.
Yeah, it smells really good, right? Some lavender, and I believe that's Nemesia, and some lobelia. Looking really fresh. Some snapdragons, and those are great because they're nice and short, which means they won't get all floppy and you won't need to stake them. And then they have some petunias, some celosia, and some sun patience, it looks like. These petunias also look really good. We saw this building yesterday from across the way. It has all of these burgundy colored shutters. And everyone rides bikes around here. There is an insane amount of bicycles. Some string of pearls. Some more house plants. I've had a hard time with string of pearls too. That's a really beautiful color of anthurium. I've never seen it in that like blush kind of apricot color. Some pretty hanging baskets. This hammered finish. So look really cool with one of my spider plant babies. My friend Trisha just showed me these, and this is a perfect souvenir. It's a little wooden shoe with the tulips on it and forget-me-nots. So sweet. This is the biggest wall of bulbs I have seen. Look at this. It's like a farmer's market for bulbs. These are really cool bulbs. I didn't know what cyclamen bulbs look like. You can see the canal on the back wall of this flower shop. And a black tulip. Look how pretty that would look with white. That would be very formal, right? Like a black tie event in the garden. That could be fun. It could be Queen of the Night, although I think I've grown Queen of the Night before, and it leans a little bit more purple in the sun. There's a Prince Charles tulip there too. Cassini. Oh, Angelique. I've grown these before. They're really pretty. It looks like you can purchase bulbs for USA and Canada and have them shipped. But since it's still July and pretty warm, I would be worried about getting bulbs too early since I can only plant them out in the fall. Some beautiful alliums, and these are real. I thought they were artificial at first, but they are just in the process of drying.
After the flower market, we spent some more time sightseeing before heading to a canal cruise that evening. Now, the canal cruise was really fun and relaxing. They served us some Gouda cheese with some mustard for dipping and your choice of beverage, either wine, water, or a soft drink. And you cruise up and down all of the canal bridges or overpasses, and you get to see the lovely old world buildings and homes of the people who live in Amsterdam. Now, I really enjoyed this, and I wish I took more footage of the sights on this canal cruise, but I am prone to motion sickness, and I did take a Dramamine, so I was able to enjoy myself, but I thought it'd be best if I put the camera down, and that's what I did. But this is a great way to spend some time in Amsterdam. If you have the chance, definitely take a canal cruise. I think it is one of their most popular attractions, and I found it really enjoyable. To wrap up night number 2 in Amsterdam, we just hung out in Rembrandt Square, which was right by our hotel and was a place that was always pretty active in the evening hours. It didn't get dark until quite late, around 10 p.m. or so. So it felt like it was always earlier than it actually was. So we didn't feel tired. So sometimes we would just hang out here in the evening, have a drink, and just watch the entertainment. This night they had a person that was twirling a fire hula hoop, and it was quite interesting. So we spent some time watching this attraction. The next morning, we headed over to the Rijksmuseum, and this is a beautiful museum that you can visit, and there is an admission price to get inside the museum. However, if you want to explore the outside, where they also have some really beautiful gardens, it is free to do so. So we spent some time just walking around the exterior and checking out the gardens.
What a beautiful parterre garden. Looks like they have some type of grass here, surrounded by a hedge of boxwood. And in the center, there is some Verbena bonariensis, and it looks like some Culver's root or Veronicastrum. Nice spot to cool off on a warm day at the museum here. What a beautiful, colorful garden with a bunch of annuals, some cosmos and some ageratum, some bachelor buttons, sunflowers. Looks like a type of calendula. Gorgeous. Celosia. I'm not sure what type of cosmo this is, but it's gorgeous. It is huge. It's a pretty magenta color and a really large bloom. Probably upwards of 4 inches, 5 inches across. But it really makes an impact. Kind of waving in the wind a little bit. Some really pretty anemones. Lots of pollinators on them. They look like they could maybe be the Robatissima variety, and that pretty light pink. Some beautiful hydrangeas. This place is beautiful, and it's abuzz with tourists speaking all different languages. It's just really fun and interesting. It's a beautiful day today. warm but with a breeze and nice and cool in the shade. This looks like it could be an orange or a lemon tree, some kind of citrus. And they are planted, but they're against this brick wall, so if they stay here all year, it could be a microclimate. A pretty glass house, greenhouse. This would be beautiful in my backyard. I wonder if I could get George to agree. On a much smaller scale, of course. My friend Trisha just identified this pretty plant for us. It's acanthus. And it looks like the pollinators really love it because there are a few bees on it. We have it planted here around the fountain. Such beautiful globe thistle. Mine is just about blooming in my garden back home. This one has a nice bright blue color. It might be the vitro blue variety. I have the blue glow globe thistle, which might be a little bit lighter. But a really beautiful plant. I have it paired here with some daylilies. This seems like a naturalistic type planting. They have some grasses in the back there, look like blue fescue, and some more clipped boxwood hedges, and then that beautiful greenery which forms their walk-through tunnel. Some lavender here by the gate that faces the street side, and lots of pollinators on the lavender as well. Happy little bees in this garden. And some more globe thistle. This looks like the variety that I have, which is the blue glow globe thistle, and I grew some from seed. Very easy to grow from seed. And very pretty. And some more acanthus. It's so pretty. This is a beautiful combo. The acanthus with the phlox. There are some ferns planted here, and it looks like some euphorbia that's getting shaded by this wall of green that takes you through the tunnel. So they paired this where the shady stuff is over by the shade of this green wall, and then as you inch further out of the border, that is where the sun is, and that's where the sun-loving plants are, like the phlox and the acanthus. And check out this beautiful plant. This I thought was something called burnet, but it turns out it's a type of persicaria. And it's got a really pretty kind of reddish color. It's very eye-catching in person. I don't know if the sun is too bright at the moment to really get its full color, but it's a very pretty plant.
Not far from the Rijksmuseum, you will also find the Van Gogh Museum. And near that was a little Irish pub that we stopped to have a Heineken in. Now, Heineken originated in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, so we thought we would try it. And while I'm not much of a beer drinker, on this hot day, we had already clocked in about 20,000 steps, and it was probably the best beer that I had ever tasted. We found a local grocery store and picked up some things to have a picnic at Vondel Park. And it was really nice just to have some lunch outside and share a few different pickies. We got some sushi, some fruit, some cheeses, some crackers and hummus. It was delicious and a great way to end the afternoon. On our fourth day in Amsterdam, we ended up going to Zaanse Schans, which is where you see the famous windmills. Now, we were visiting in July, so we didn't get to see all of the beautiful tulip fields that are usually blooming in April. But we got to check out the famous windmills and get a little bit of history behind them. So the land in the Netherlands are pretty flat, so the terrain is pretty flat, and they were susceptible to flooding. So the windmills were created as a way to pump out the water from the floods back into the river so that the land could dry out and the farmers could farm. And later, the windmills began being used for manufacturing. So here you can see that the wheel from the windmill is crushing and churning some peanuts to produce peanut oil, which they actually had available in jars for sale. So I thought this process was really interesting. Not only were the windmills beautiful, but they served a purpose throughout the years for not only clearing out the floodwater and for manufacturing as well. At Zaanse Schans, they also had a wooden shoe workshop, which was so fun. And these wooden shoes can be found all over Holland and the Netherlands, and they are still used today. And if you're in the search for a new pair of garden clogs, these might be a good option because these are considered safety shoes in the Netherlands, and they're also supposed to be really great for your posture. Interestingly enough, they are considered waterproof, even though they're made out of wood. The material used is often poplar and willow, and they're really hard. So they, if you drop something on your foot, they'll be protected. And because they have waterproof properties, they are often used by gardeners and farmers. And here you see that I'm trying on some of these clogs for fun. And the recommendation was to find a clog that was 1 to 2 sizes larger than your foot. So in European sizes, I'm a 39, so I did go ahead and try a 40, and it fit fine. Also, supposedly, these wooden shoes are really comfortable. Let me know if you've ever worn these for any period of time and what your thoughts were. The last stop on our tour of Zaanse Schans was to Volendam, which is a little fishing village. And to get onto the ferry that would take us there, we had to go through these little paths, which seem to be in people's backyards, with cute plantings. Here you can see there's some St. John's wort, some hydrangeas, and even some more wild hollyhocks. And here we are after taking the ferry to Volendam. This is a cute little fishing village with some homes and some businesses. There are some restaurants and some shops. And we actually visited a cheese factory and cheese shop, which was really fun. They gave us some information about how they make the cheeses, how long they cure, and the shop was really pretty, and they also gave us samples, which was my favorite part. We got to try so many delicious cheese varieties, and we were able to buy some to take home as souvenirs. There was truffle cheese and sun-dried tomato cheese, and of course lots of Gouda. So it was a really fun place. Plus we were getting hungry, so the cheese was a great appetizer. And then we were just walking back to the bus that would take us back to the center of town. And I noticed that there were so many cute gardens, well taken care of gardens in these small front yard spaces. These homeowners just have this small piece of land, and they made such a great use of this space with these really pretty and colorful gardens. These hot pink hydrangeas were gorgeous, and they even had a little clipped hedge of boxwood. So I really loved this, and it was so inspirational because it doesn't matter if you have a large yard or a small yard, you can still have a really pretty garden. After 4 days in Amsterdam, we were ready to get on a plane and head over to France for the second leg of our trip. And we traveled to Toulouse, France, which is the 4th largest city in France. And we spent a few days here, actually just 1 day before heading over to Figeac, where we went to a women's camp called Camp Chateau. But Toulouse was really pretty, and it was nice to have spent a day here. And it's definitely a place that I would consider going back to for a few extra days in the future. Of course, the food in France was amazing. We had baguettes and croissants and the best coffee, and we just spent a really great day in the city. And I even got to ride a carousel. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button, and please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. And we'll see you soon.